Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Bachelor post-show live chat with me, Bachelor Fantake. How's everyone doing tonight? We are at the midpoint of the season for Joey's season of The Bachelor, and a 2-episode week this week, which was a lot of Bachelor. I don't know what they're doing there. Maybe trying to end it a week earlier. I'm buying that the theory I proposed that they're trying to get it in and done before American Idol really gets rolling. But how's everyone doing tonight? Hopefully good. Hopefully a lot better than Jess and Leah. But let's get into this. Of course, in the live chats, if you're new here, the only real rule we have is no spoilers unless they involve sleuthing, and also be kind to each other. But a lot to talk about this week. Tons to talk about. Last night we saw the 2-on-1 with Sydney and Maria, which Maria prevailed from. We also saw, the 1-on-1s as well, Lexi 1-on-1, group date and all that. But really the meat of that episode was the 2-on-1 and the drama that finally ended with Sydney and Maria, only to start anew again with Leah and Maria. Leah took the mantle of villain of the season, and if you want an update and all that, I did a recap video out today on that, if you haven't seen it. But wow, pretty incredible the transformation we saw Leah take. Leah, why do I keep saying that? Leah take siding with her bestie, and really pushing the hate on Maria. And the funny thing is, Maria, I can understand she's not maybe for everybody. Maybe she's got a personality that rubs a few people the wrong way. I can understand that, but she hasn't really done all that much wrong this season. It's a lot of hate. A lot of hate. And and also we saw the other night Medina and Leah getting at odds because Medina wasn't she wasn't being mean enough to Maria in Sydney's honor. So that happened, and about halfway through this episode today, I was also going, you know who really was causing a lot of ruckus early on, but has cooled off greatly? Jess. and now Jess is also in there. Jess is back to that night one shenanigans, and it's a funny thing. We're going now to Montreal, which is some place we know. Maria has a 1-on-1 ahead in Canada. Looks like, based on the preview, that they seem to they've done this at least 2 times before in the past, where they go to a Canadian place, Ontario, Montreal, somewhere around there, and then they just take a helicopter ride to Niagara Falls. They seem to really love to do that on this show. So that's what's going to happen. And again, this preview, they say next week, but it seems to be like an extended mid-season preview breakdown, which shows a lot more, because there are a lot of dates, a lot of one-on-ones shown, and definitely some footage that's not quite Montreal. I think we know for sure the 2 one-on-ones in Montreal. So any dates we see other than one with Maria and also one with Kelsey T, we know she has a Montreal date. Then that's somewhere else. But yes, also this episode we saw two women highlighted who are big parts of one especially who's a big part of the season previews, but another who's very present as well in the season previews and slowly rising, a slow burn up. I think could be a contender as well. Possible footage in the final filming location as well. The two women being Kelsey A. and Rachel. And Rachel, here's the shot of her in Mexico, the final filming location. Two women having, their big moments this week with one-on-ones and doing really well. I mean, Joey seems super comfortable with Rachel. I thought they had a really cute date. She from Hawaii, so there's a lot that works there for the two of them. So that's she also had that. She's just kind of steadily going up since that wedding dress date, and same with Kelsey. Kelsey just over the last maybe 2-3 weeks just getting a group date rose and slowly her stock rising, and these women along with Daisy seem to be pretty solid top 3, definitely top 4 contenders in there. It's that 4th spot that's pretty unknown. I've been in this last episode or two. I've doubted Jen for a while because there's been some footage where it's maybe that was an endgame shot, but it turned out to be from her first one-on-one, so we haven't seen a ton of endgame footage of her. But sure, her edits have been pretty good, and I just I'm kind of going through the list of women here, who's left, and who could really fit that role. Jen's a strong contender. This Jess stuff, Jess, she's a pretender. She got some extra time she got the bonus painting time on the painting group date that we saw today. She's a pretender. Caitlyn has nothing there. Who else do we even have? No nonstop rom-coms. Lexi would be, but there is footage from the previews that suggests she could be self-eliminating. So Lexi, I'd say, is a contender if she doesn't self-eliminate, and Jen could be another one. And then we've also talked about Maria, but she's so caught up in the drama and all this stuff. It's got to weigh her down at some point. And she does have some footage in the preview and stuff to talk about that could throw. She's way too caught up in the drama. Leia, no chance as well. Yes, and thank you for the super chats, Maria Hernandez. Really, really appreciate that. I'm tired of hearing Maria's name. Leia, we were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. Not Sydney and others gaslighting Bachelor Nation saying Maria was rude. What did she do to you? I'm tired of hearing Maria's name. I think in the same way you are from out of other people's mouths. Again, Maria, she is. It's maybe not your cup of tea. I think she speaks her mind. She's very forward, but I'm just of the three of them, Jess, Maria, Leia. Jess seems to Jess is she's been kind of meh over the last few weeks. Leia just completely disappeared from getting the first impression rose, and Maria seems to have the most solid connection with Joey of all of them. So I can't imagine the other two getting roses over Maria. Now, if Maria gets a hometown, that's still up for debate. But it just, I don't know. I think it's one of those things that just kind of spiraled. It was it spiraled from a thing that Medina that happened with Medina that wasn't really, didn't seem, from what we saw, wasn't a thing, and then Medina was cool with Maria. Medina was they squashed it. They became friends. They were fine. They were at least okay enough to hang out together and not argue. And the whole root cause of this fighting was dealt with, but then it was just picked up by Sydney. Anyways, Sydney's gone. this is only gonna last another week at best. Leia's gonna be gone next episode. Gotta be, right? Like, just like she said, develop no connection. But maybe we'll see. And AJ, thank you so much for the super chat. Good to see you. I'm so tired of the unnecessary drama and Maria's name being in people's mouth. Yeah, we're already talking about it. It's making me exhausted. Yeah, and every time you think it's gone, it's just brings it back. Someone brings it back. Is like if Maria gets a rose next episode and Leia and Jess are gone, is there going to be someone else who just magically, is granted the spirit of Sydney and must, at will, upon seeing Maria, believed that they are being attacked and must fight back? Is that what's going to happen? At some point, something's got to give. But no, this episode, sadly, Medina, who seemed to want to get out of the drama, want to get away from it at a certain point. She gets away from it now. She's gone. She's gone home, as well as Autumn. Autumn went home, as well. And Christine McAvoy, thank you so much for the super chat. Really, really appreciate that. Don't know why these girls don't just pull Joey, but instead spend their time complaining about Maria. If it's jealousy or fear, they don't have a connection. If it's jealousy or fear that they don't have a connection, yeah. There are some arguments that people talk about where, like, maybe producers control more than you think. So, like, producers can give you permission or prevent you from seeing the lead. But there's so much mixed information about that sort of stuff. That being said, I think anytime you as a contestant wanted to pull someone, like if you wanted to go to a producer and say, hey, I want to interrupt those people's time, I want to get more time, if it's going to create good TV and you're going to get more time with Joey at the same time, like that's a win-win for everybody. Like you can control more than you think, if you think of it that way, is what I'm getting at. Is what I imagine, but yeah, I don't know, I think there's also, and this has happened in seasons past, there gets to a certain point at this like midpoint in a season where certain people are just clearly forming stronger connections, and you can feel yourself pulling away. And so sometimes it's just frustration. Sometimes you make desperate moves. Sometimes people are like, you know what, I'm gonna shoot my shot, and maybe make the most of it. Be the villain if they want me to, and if it works, great. And if it doesn't, maybe I'll get a paradise spot out of it. So that's what it could be. That's what it could be. Either way, all of this complaining, 99% of the time, leads to nowhere. And it's the women who, are more focused on developing their connections with Joey that end up getting hometowns and making it to the end. But, hey, these other women could, They're digging that paradise spot. They're reserving their cabanas with some of this stuff. We'll see who ends up actually getting spots. I think at this point, like Maria, I don't think she's gonna win, but she seems like a lock for paradise. Seems like a complete lock. Like Medina here, could we see her in paradise? That like, I don't know. We'll see. Sometimes things are so like parasocial and like beyond the show too, because like you could have Medina you're thinking maybe there's like no chance she's gonna be in paradise, but then Medina, like one of the other contestants from The Bachelorette slides into her DMs, and there's like a love triangle thing going on, and then production kind of finds that and is like, okay, let's bring old album to paradise. But as far as like the edit goes, it's like not sure about her, but like Maria, I could see a Sydney showing up at some point. I could see them doing like a Maria first on the beach, or not, or like one of the first people on the beach, and then like 2 episodes in, Sydney shows up, kind of thing. Is Bachelor in Paris a definite and may be replaced by Golden Bachelorette? So we know that Golden Bachelorette, I believe, is in the fall. They did do Bachelor in Paradise in the fall. So I guess they theoretically could just replace it, but we'll see. The thing that Bachelor in Paradise always has going for it is so cheap to make. So even if it's not doing as well as it once did, it's so cheap to make, and it fills in a slot, and if they need that TV slot to do it, they're just gonna fill it in, because it's just easy to do. Easy to do. So yeah, but yeah, I don't know if there has been an announcement on the Paradise front yet. I've been slightly less connected to the deep world of Bachelor information of late, with all the stuff that's been going on, but if they do not, usually we find that stuff. Usually the people are on like socials are posting it, so I feel like I would know. But anyways, let's now get to let's get to the preview. There is an extended season preview, sort of. I think that usually they do, at this point it's like episode 5, they do the mid-season. Let's show you a little bit more, but we'll see. That I don't know if Jesse said and this season on, so it will. Who knows if there might be another one where they show a deeper look at another episode or 2 down the line. So maybe there'll be another extended mid-season preview. Maybe we'll be double dipping on that front. But certainly there are new looks at stuff that happens, especially in the next few episodes, and a little bit further along as well. So I'm gonna get that set up, and we can check that out. Do a little bit of live sleuthing on that one.
Joey's.
All right, there we go. And next week, they're heading to Montreal. Good old Canada, the Canadian invasion season. Let's take a look. Make sure I've got.
Joey's journey continues.
I really hope Joey wants to spend his first day in Canada with his Canadian. Bonjour, Montreal!
I can confidently say I found the person that I've been looking for.
See, now, I'm not entirely sure this is Montreal right here. We've talked about Alberta as well. And again, we know, like, so here's a one-on-one with Daisy. Now, we've talked, Daisy doesn't seem to get a one-on-one in Montreal. It's Maria and Kelsey T who get it. So this could very easily be Alberta after Montreal, or Alberta right before Hometowns, which would be a very normal place for people to get their second one-on-one of the season. Daisy getting the second one-on-one, getting a rose, and getting a hometown spot. So, but otherwise, yes, Maria, she will get her one-on-one in Montreal and go to Niagara Falls. But we have seen in the previews before the night portion of her date in the Rialto Theater in Montreal. So they're showing us there's more than just next week.
This is the perfect place for me to fall in love.
I have strong feelings for you, and I'm definitely falling in love with you.
He's a man that I've been looking for.
So, and here you go. Here's I think Kelsey T gets a circus themed one-on-one, not just because of this sort of circus display here, but there is a preview shot before where there's like a gymnastics sort of circus element that they're both doing, which would be very, again, Montreal, Cirque du Soleil, sort of date. So Kelsey T there. Here, this is just layout, group date, or very easily, this could be a pre-rose ceremony cocktail party. Doesn't mean anything. But yeah, group date stuff here maybe, or a hometown. Weren't they talking about nursing earlier? Well, Rachel, we know, whatever the case is, we know that she gets a hometown. She's in Mexico for sure. So, wrong button. So, either way, if there just happens to be some sort of nursing group date, whatever, it doesn't really change much of anything. But this, I wonder, I mean, I guess it's possible, theoretically possible, this could be a hometown too. If they go to Hawaii. Something I didn't really consider in the promos. I had figured that this was maybe possibly in Mexico, because I guess my mind is always going to any shots from the season previews where it's in a tropical location. Oh yeah, no, okay. The final filming location. But yeah, no, this could be a hometown as well. With Rachel. Either way, we know. It doesn't make a difference, we know. She's making it to the final three. But let's continue.
The time I spend with you, it gets clearer and clearer to me that it's like supposed to be you and I.
I'm not waiting any longer. I want to let you know that I am falling in love with you. The fact that these women feel the way they do and they are finally starting to express it.
And there's a helicopter maybe from Niagara Falls. They take the helicopter to their date. This is the night portion of their date. Looks to be before they go to the theater. Some helicopter. And yeah, this who knows if this is actually with Lexi. But I do know that they show that shot from the season preview where Lexi goes to visit Joey in his hotel room. A very standard Bachelor event. Someone goes to visit the lead in their hotel near hometowns or at the midpoint or something like that, and there's a breakup. And that's with Lexi. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that she's self-eliminating. He could convince her to stay, but hesitant about Lexi. And it looks like another Alberta date. Can't quite make out who it is. And group date. Group date, I think. Anyways. Let's
express it. I am on cloud 9, and I'm not coming down.
Just wanted to steal you for a little good luck kiss.
Oh, did you know?
Mm-hmm.
What the hell?
It's really hard for me to see your connection with everyone else.
I feel forgotten.
So, yeah. Another kind of group date. Context completely unknown. But, again, I mean, like, theoretically, could be Alberta, but, or Montreal, but, maybe this is one of those group dates before hometowns. where the rose is really important. I don't know. Is there going to be Jen and Rachel beef? Maybe, but it's hard to buy. And again, this could be their Alberta date, could be hometown. In Becker, where Daisy's from. We'll see. Doesn't change much. And then there's like the women who don't really have much screen time, and they're going to be kind of floating until their eventual elimination.
I feel forgotten. Like, did I do something?
No.
If he's falling in love with me, he's 100% falling in love with them too.
I just feel like I'm losing him.
Okay, and this is from that visit Joey moment. Same hotel kind of background. Yeah, this is a very, I don't know. This is like, could this be a hometown? Does anyone from Becker recognize this, or it's just a pensive? Maybe it's before her one-on-one in Alberta. Anyways, but yeah, Jess seems to be freaking out. She's seeing the writing on the wall that there's just like she's doing the math like of the strong connections that are there. She's not in the top 4 of them, so not surprised.
Losing him. What do I have to be enough?
I feel insecure and I
There's,
hate this. I'm just scared to think this could just all end.
Kelsey T's
I
one-on-one.
like you so much that I don't like seeing you with any of these girls. I don't know if I can do this anymore.
Do you know how scary it would be to get to that point of getting down on one knee and her being across from me and wondering if she was actually going to say yes or no?
Yeah, and Maria has some sort of sit-down doubts with Joey. And, yeah, because it's been a long time coming and a long journey for Maria.
And her being across from me, wondering if she was actually going to say yes or no.
And then Mexico.
It's been a while since I've let someone fully in because I'm afraid of them leaving me. The last time I've been in this position, it didn't work out.
And most of this is really the same from what we've seen before. There's nothing. A few people like have talked about in promos, like something happens that they think has never happened before. I've said this many times this season. I'll believe it when I see it. Could be nothing.
Been in this position, it didn't work out.
Or could be so small, like
when it got taken away.
But
I don't want to feel like that again.
It's not like.
I still have
Wild.
a lot of questions that I need answered.
I'm just worried that we are just at completely different places in our lives.
So yeah, we need to talk again. I've been spurned so many times, so this is like, I don't know, it could be, well, only a couple of people, but we need to talk. I've been spurned so many times by previews in this franchise that I have no gauge of what this could actually be. I have no trust. It could literally be, oh, I really want to see him, so I'm gonna write, we need to talk, and prop it in and see what he says. But it looks like this is Mexico area and not the Lexi thing. But or it could absolutely be a breakup, but been spurned too many times.
This is just too much. I'm done.
This is like my worst nightmare possibly coming true.
The final
Where my heart lies. I just have to hope that she feels the same way.
But we see all this, like this footage here. Seen it before. It's the same footage. Then my preview abruptly ended. So I don't know if there was. I think there was meant to be like 1 or 2 more seconds or something like that. I'm sure they'll post the full one on like YouTube or something. But they have this sort of like setup that like maybe someone leaves them or something. But I don't buy that. I don't think that's what the end game is. It's totally possible that he's expecting 2 people to show up, 1 doesn't or something, and then I don't know. Has that happened before? Maybe that's the thing that they're alluding to that's never happened before. But I'm operating on the idea that at the end of the day, things end mostly traditional, which means Joey gets engaged to someone at the end at a final rose ceremony. The rest of the details, we'll see. And it could be like the ending that they've talked about, or something happens. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the last episode. Could be Fantasy Suites too. But yeah, and the most typical thing is that he's crying and upset in these preview shots because he sent someone he loves home, or he broke someone's heart. And then, okay, goodbye. The person I'm actually getting engaged to comes in and happily ever after. Yeah, I wonder if if the runner-up just walks away, mid-sentence just walks away. Yeah, totally. That could be something that does not change the dynamic of the show, or like how things typically end. Still could be a very traditional ending with 2 people showing up at the end, 1 getting broken up with, and 1 getting engaged, and happily ever after still happens, but, then, Joey could say, oh, yeah, I don't think that's ever happened before, so I can use that. Or the show can say, something happens that's never happened before. But not even mid-sentence, just doesn't show up yet. And so many, permeations of that idea could happen, and we just don't really know what at this point. So I have no reason to believe at this point there's significant enough evidence to suggest something different than a typical ending happens. And Christine McAvoy again, thank you so much for the super chat. How excited are we for the women tell-all footage? It could be a spicy one this time. Could be a real spicy one. If Maria's there, which I expect she will be. And and Sydney and Leia show up, and Jess. But it's such an interesting thing with all this feuding between Sydney and Maria and Leia and Jess now, and again with the Jess and Maria stuff, I feel like Maria did interrupt, but Jess was overreacting too, and channeling some frustration and insecurity, I think. She was interrupted, and it sucks when you're interrupted by someone who has a rose. Totally. But it went a little overboard. So, who do I think is going to win at this point? It's tough. I'd still say Daisy's a strong contender. She seems to always have an edit every episode. She's got it'll be interesting to see how her dates go in the next few episodes when she does get another one-on-one. Because we were at that point where she got a one-on-one so far ago. She's still in there all the time. Which is fantastic for her edit. But then you have rising stars like Kelsey and Rachel. And you start to wonder, but in the next couple of episodes we're going to get reminded more of Daisy again. So I'll still go with her. But I think if you are looking at Rachel or Kelsey and thinking they're the winner. There's no evidence to help me convince you you could be wrong on that. So but I think what I was sort of I think getting at, but I got maybe off track a bit with all the Maria, Sydney, and Jess stuff is, they talk about these things happening. She's attacking me. She's said this. She did this. All this sort of stuff. She told this person to, she told Leia to shut the F up. Like, I kind of go, but wouldn't production show that? Like, wouldn't that be good to show? Like, wouldn't they want to have a moment where Maria says that, and then goes on the 2-on-1 and says, "Oh, I didn't say that," and then it's like, "Oh, yeah, you did." Like, why would they want to protect Maria? When they could make a more interesting show. So I'm kind of going like, I know they cut stuff out, but I like, wouldn't they show that? Wouldn't they show that stuff? If she did all of these things, they showed, what we presume to be Maria's comments about Medina. They showed her calling Sydney embarrassing and weird. Or at least weird, from my memory. Like, why protect her so much? Like, they want to sew on Maria's side. So it seems a little too much. But I don't know. I'm not a Bachelor producer. Maybe they're masterminds. So that's why I have a hard time believing what they say. On top of just them being so wild about it, just constant with the Maria stuff. Like, I get it. She's attacking you. She's attacking you, and they do show times where it's just very wildly embellished and twisted. So, and so I think Maria goes far, so they're protecting her because of that. Yeah, it's possible that Maria, like, hey, let's say she makes it to the final 3 or she wins, which I don't think is the case. But if they're really hiding her from the previews and she wins the whole thing, I guess they could maybe, want to protect the couple. Maybe I don't know, but we're getting really now into conspiracy territory. So, yeah. Hannah Beige. Maria is a Thomas. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Misunderstood, and actually there for love. And Thomas was, he's now in one of the most successful Bachelor couples ever. Married with a kid from Bachelor in Paradise. But, alright. We are going to be coming to the end of the live stream because there is a huge week of content ahead, and I've got to get as much rest as I can with the 3-year-old and the 3-month-old in the mix. And so tomorrow, it's going to be a bit different. Tomorrow is a new season of Love is Blind, and so I'm going to be covering that tomorrow. New episodes come out in like few hours, at least here, like from where I am. East Coast coming out in just a few hours from now, and that's always an interesting time. So I'm going to be covering that tomorrow. I'm going to try to get it as fast as I can. We'll see. And which means very unlikely that part 2 of this 2-week Bachelor is going to come out tomorrow. That will likely be coming out Thursday, and then preview breakdown after that on Friday. Do my best to get it all out in a timely fashion. But for now, if you looking for that content you haven't seen, yesterday's episode recap came out today. So we've got that. This VOD will always be up as well for this episode discussion. But Thursday for this episode. Tomorrow, Love is Blind. Friday, extended preview breakdown. And then we head back finally to the one episode a week. But Love is Blind's going to enter the rotation for a few weeks. Always a good mess. So thank you all for joining me tonight, for chatting, super chatting, lurking. Those of you just hanging out. Those of you listening on the VOD afterwards, thank you. Check your whatevers, my socials, all the things, YouTube, for a Love is Blind video tomorrow and more content after that. And we're on to another week. Next week, Joey's journey for love continues. So, until then, Bachelor fan take out.